still not subscribed to the partition, you know, it's a lot of ways that you can do this besides watching all the content. But before we start, always remember, go to the channels link. Every show that we have, you can always see every show before everybody else see the show. But besides that, always remember, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, put it on all. Until then, always remember, anything is possible. Thank you for choosing the partition. Now let's get into the show. Anything is possible. Peace. The Chopping Up with Lil Ron show is where it's at and it's where it's happening. Oh man. Yes, sir. Like me son needs to do the drink. He just tell me one time. My son got me this with my dad, so I can always have him with me whenever I do the show. Hold on, wait. I want to laugh. Welcome back to Chopping Up with Lil Ron. I have another guest in the studio, and I met this man at a event with Nolan. Now, a few weeks ago, y'all seen I brought on the magician, and this is the guy that actually is friends with the magician. But enough of me talking about him. I want to welcome the one and only Dr. G, like Kenny G. How you doing, Doc?
Hey, great, and it's Kenny G like Dr. G.
I like that. Kenny G like Dr. G.
Yeah.
What I like to do is welcome you to the show, number one, and it's an honor and it's a pleasure because we share something that we both like to do. We like to entertain people. We like to change people's lives, and we both like the saxophone. That's super important. But what I want to do is before we start, introduce yourself to my fans so they'll know who you are, and the ones that don't know who you are gonna love you anyway. So introduce yourself.
Wow, I'm excited and ignited about hanging out with you, Dr. Lil Ron. And the reason why I say that because I know who you're becoming.
Yes, sir.
And just like for me, when I met you, right?
Yes, sir.
And I told you, hey, listen, this is the reason why I'm here. I'll support Nolan in anything that he does.
Yes, sir.
Then I'll get back to the introduction.
Yes, sir.
I'll show you how close Nolan and I are, right?
Yes, go ahead.
I was scheduled to be on his show, and I was headed to his show. I get a text from my sister saying my mother just died.
Mm.
And she asked me, well, are you coming? And all I could think about was, she's not there. I'm going to go do the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll reconnect with you, you know.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah, and so, and what I did, what I did with Nolan, while we did the show, I said, I'm glad to be here. And for those of you out there just, watching, my mom just died. Now, Nolan, what do you need to know? And we went on with the show.
Yes, sir.
But it was on Valentine's Day.
Wow.
And I learned something so tremendous, changed my life. And what I learned that day, it kept me from grieving, and all of that. What I learned that day is that love called her home. And God is love. So he called her in love.
Mm.
And whatever grief that would have came, could have came, should have came, and all of that was out the window.
Yes, sir.
Because love called her home.
That's
and
powerful.
Love did what nothing else or no one else could do.
That's right.
And knowing that what took place on Valentine's Day that day was the greatest love that she had for her. And I began to celebrate her transition. And I even wrote a song called Love Called Her Home.
You write songs.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Oh.
that's my gift.
Uh-oh.
I'm a songwriter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Hey, you can go on your phone right now, type in my name, and you'll hear some of the stuff. I got a song out there that's on there now. I use it as my theme song. It's called "Bringing Families Back."
When you said it,
Yeah.
it kind of give me. It not is this? Do you sing them? Do you?
No, I write, I produce, and I have those that have the gift stay in their gift, and and they sing, and we, and it comes together. But I've been writing songs for a long, long time, and what I've come to learn as a songwriter, if you're faithful over the song that you just wrote, then God can give you another song to write.
That's right.
And if you get something and you don't do anything with it, you're gonna wait on the next one. So I learned to be faithful with the gift and use it to where it changes lives. See, my thing is this: I write purpose-driven music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are those that do top 40. There are those that do educational song. I remember one time, and I ended up coining this, and it's actually on here. I wrote a song called the Toss Song when Toss was the educational standard here in Texas.
I remember they used to have a lot of people ain't gonna remember this. This is your task test. I was like, cause this task was made for you and me. 'Cause they used to do that in school because that it used to be the California Achievement test at first. It was a cat at
Okay.
first, and then they went from the cat to the task test. And I remember it used to be in a packet, and you have a number 2 pencil, and you got to take it to break the seal on the side just to get in there, just do your test. I remember that. That's it. I'm an '80s baby, so it's gonna be late '80s. It's gonna be in the '90s because I remember around about that time, it was transitioning away from. It was getting ready for Clinton to come because Bush was in there back then. Young Bush. I mean, in fact, old Bush, not young Bush.
Okay.
Was in there. So I remember that back in the days. That's
Yeah, but so I came back and I created a character called the Toss Doctor. And what I did, I was a music teacher. I started in North Forest, then HISD.
hold on, stop. Stop. You said North Forest.
Yeah.
I went to Forest Brook High School. I went to Kirby Middle School.
Okay.
I-
What
I-
elementary school did you go to?
I went to Farmwood Elementary.
And you went to Farmwood. See, I taught at East Houston, right? And that you may have known Counselor Mary Davis, and she's the one that got me in North Forest, and so it was a really exciting time. But I taught at Gulf Crest Elementary School in HISD, and well in North Forest I taught music, art, and drama, and that was an incredible time, right? But when I went to HISD, I taught in a predominantly Hispanic school.
Mm-hmm.
And what was interesting, this was during the time of the Macarena.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is the death of Selena.
I remember that.
And see, what was interesting about that was the principal at my school, her name was Saldivar. The lady that took Selena out, her name was the same.
Mm-hmm.
So it was real interesting. So I remember I had the whole school doing the Macarena.
I remember that.
Dali out the Cuello Paligrita Macarena.
Gator?
Yeah,
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 the Gator.
yeah.
I remember that.
So I did that. But at the same time, I wrote the toss song. You have to read and write night and day. You have to study hard. You just can't play. You have to add and subtract, divide and multiply. When it comes to math, you have to try. Believe, achieve. You will succeed. You have to do your best and you will pass the test.
Yes.
And then I did this interesting little rap. You know you can read, you know you can write. Do your best, it'll be all right. To attack the math, just remember the rule. Do your best, that's what's cool. There's not a problem that you can't solve. Get into it, get involved, and you'll pass the test without no doubt. Believe it. Went back in there.
Hey man, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm listening to you, and it kind of give off a little Curtis Blow. And when you broke it down and you totally almost sound like you're talking about the yellow pudding pops. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like I said, guys, I cannot be. It is actually people don't understand creative things is things that people like, and it's the small things like that that they have now took out of schools. Our kids know back in the days, you had semi-internet. You didn't have what you got now. Because nobody
Right.
on there do no Google. You had to get that book. You had to go to the library. You had to read that. You had to research that. You had to get the newspapers. You had to go through and read that stuff. Now everything is handed to them. Like here, everything is right here. You exposed everything. Just go there and go look at what you want. Back in the days, they didn't actually do that. And being a songwriter like yourself, and then be able to perform it. That's another. Look, some people write and can't perform their stuff. You can not only sing, you can perform. But the thing I do want to, something that I want to know, how did you earn the name Doctor?
I have 2 honorary doctors. I have one in Christian leadership. Then I have another doctor's degree in divinity. I'm a consecrated bishop. So if you want to actually pronounce me or identify me, I'm actually Bishop Dr. F.D. Guyton. Now, what's interesting about that is I was named after my grandfather. His name was F.D. Guyton. And I tell a story about where I came from, how I come from. My dad was from Alabama. My mother was from Arkansas. They met in Mississippi and they moved to Texas. I went to school in Louisiana and God delivered me from Atlanta, Georgia, from the South, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so, and from there, I mean, I just, I just love achieving. I just love achieving. Now, I'm in the process now of going back to my first love,
Uh-oh.
and that's radio.
That's what I'm glad that you brought that up. Radio.
Yeah, I started radio in 1985.
I think I was like about 4 years old. Yeah, I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
I remember I had that's when I was watching the Super Friends. So yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I started in 1985, right? And most of the guys that I did radio with, we're still Facebook friends.
85 in radio, that's Michael Jackson. That's when Mike was like, that's Thriller, that's hot. That's a hot era right there with Michael Jackson. Cause everybody, especially you remember, I don't know if you remember this. Remember back in the days, they had a Michael Jackson. It was a special record, and it plays the Michael Jackson music. And when you exercise, it tell you like do touch your gluteus maximum, touch your knee, and that is your knee, and touch your elbows. It's a Michael Jackson. I'm gonna go on the internet. I'm gonna find this. It's a
Yeah.
Michael Jackson exercise workout thing, but it got the Thriller beat. They got to beat it, but it actually is like a straight exercise thing. It was
Wow.
like really, it's really nice, man. I'm telling you, if the kids now hear that, they'll be like, "What?" But it was like really nice.
Yeah.
I liked that.
Now that's good. But what happened for me was this: creating that character, the toss doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I my biggest client or my was the largest producer of toss material in the state of Texas. I remember finding out about this meeting, so I got me a sub to come into my class, and I went to that meeting. And I busted into that meeting, and I told them, "You guys need what I have." And they looked at me, and it got the ladies' attention, right? Well, we must need to really hear what you have. I said, great. And I told them, teachers are for information.
That's right.
The students are there for their education. So my job is to let the parents know what their job is.
That's right.
And that's motivation.
That's right.
And so I brought all of that together. And in 1 year, the test scores went up 30%.
Man, back in those days, people don't know it was very hard for those test scores to go up like that. And a lot of things people don't know. Remember the movie Lean on Me?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people don't know because that's wrong about in that era. That's gonna
Yeah.
be that's people don't know when that movie came out. They was basically talking about stuff like that with the people test scores and them not getting their scores like it was down and they need to get up. And it just so happened they have singing in the movie. You got the choir and stuff.
But that's, you know, see, music, and you recognize this, has that kind of power to open up that creative side of you
That's right.
because they have different type of learning styles. Now, most teachers they would gravitate to the learning style, more cognitive learning style, and they would even set up their classrooms. Okay, the people that read and learn, okay, they'll put them at the head of the class. But my learning style is auditory, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hear it and I know it.
Yes, sir.
And so not saying, readers are leaders, so we must read. And I take that part serious. But I do know this, once you tap into the kid's learning style, then you're able to reach the kid.
Mm-hmm.
And see, a lot of times, what takes place in the classroom, teachers taught to keep their job. If you did not have a certain amount of kids that pass this test or this test, hey, listen, they would hem the teacher up. So they taught to pass tests, not they didn't teach to educate.
Gotcha.
So
A lot
they,
of them do that now.
yeah, because instead of teaching the kid to think, they didn't do that. They didn't do the things that were necessary to challenge the kid to think. And then they taught those that had the auditory learning styles to, by the way, my degree was in education.
Wow.
Yeah,
I got that. I got that out of me, like, man.
Yeah, I went to Grambling State University, Grambling, Louisiana,
Man.
in the band. And so even to this day, man, we connect. We call ourselves Graham Fam. And man, they're guys that we've been together since the 70s.
And you know when you say music, because you brought it up, and I gotta ask, I'm a saxophone lover, a saxophone player. What made you start playing the saxophone? And how good are you? You know, some people are good, some people are not good. But how good are you?
Well, I had the privilege, the honor, the opportunity to. Okay, let me give this testimony. Then
Okay,
it'll,
go ahead. Go
then
ahead.
it'll take you into what we're talking about, right? when I was going to Grambling, let me go back a little before. At the age of 10, I was diagnosed with malignant cancer of the bone. And I had my first cancer operation at the age of 10. And I was in the hospital 3 times due to that. Uh, so the first operation, they removed malignant tumors that were on my legs. And so while all the other kids were playing, I was on crutches. And so, and this may be why the the pattern of overachieving came into be in my life, right? But what was interesting is this: I get a, uh, I started playing saxophone in the 7th grade, and I'll never forget my dad. My dad tickled me, right? Son, you need to take that horn out in the backyard. He didn't want me to play. But we had a great, I went to Ebony Worthing High School, and we had an awesome opportunity to play. But I actually started playing in junior high school, really, saxophone. But my first instrument was the violin. And I played violin in the 3rd grade. But my brain, for some reason, and I know what it is, uh, I just couldn't, I just couldn't conceive playing a string instrument where you finger up and the notes go down.
It's hard figuring up and figuring down.
And so to get to where we're going, uh, so back to the story I was telling about. So my first instrument was violin. Second instrument was saxophone, and man, I fell in love with the saxophone in the 7th grade, and so I just kept playing. But I wasn't talented like a lot of those guys, so I had to practice and practice and practice. So I messed around and practiced up on me a scholarship
Wow.
to go to Grambling. And so that's how I got involved into that. But while I was at Grambling, man, really interesting thing happened. We were at band practice. Man, we were at parade rest, and I looked down and I looked on my left leg, and it looked like I had 3 knees on my leg. And we were getting ready for the Bayou Classic
I remember that.
and getting ready to play Southern. But I looked at my leg and I said, something is not right. And so I fell out of parade rest and I went to the band director. I said, I believe I need to go home and see the doctor. And what Conrad Hutchinson, we called him Prof at the time, he said, Bonehead, if you miss this game, your grade is F. So you know what I did, LeRon? I grabbed his roll book and I wrote the F in the book. And so, and at the time, I wrote a T500 Suzuki. And I went home and I showed my mother my leg and all that. So they made sure I went to the hospital. And the doctor wanted to operate right then and there. And I begged this guy to let me at least go finish the semester.
They said no.
Well, they said, let me go on and finish, and I did. And so I came back home, got home December the 16th, in the hospital on the 17th, had surgery on the 18th.
Golly.
And something happened during that surgery. What was malignant turned benign in the doctor's hand. I started the surgery with malignant cancer of the bone. And at the end of the surgery, the cancer was gone.
Wow. Won't he do it?
And so my life really changed then. And so I ended up, after I graduated from college, I launched a ministry called Healing Horn Ministry. And through Healing Horn Ministry, I went to Mexico for 15 years as a missionary. I,
God.
I went to Mexico, not Mexico, but Russia. I spent 6 weeks in Russia. And so that horn opened up some amazing doors, and I had the opportunity to do a lot of traveling.
You know, I want you to do. I need the horn to come out in my project that I'm doing. That's called She. I want to actually collab with you on that. When I saw that you had a saxophone, I was like, oh, yes, this is gonna be perfect.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I uh I mean, so the saxophone is such a I mean, it's been such a part of my life,
Mm-hmm.
and even to this day, I still play.
I know you forgot it today, but it's cool.
Yeah,
But
and
I'm gonna have you to bring it back so we can actually have it.
we listen. I tell you, I was on during that time. I was on Channel 22 for a year playing. Uh, Keep looking to Jesus, right? And I was on the introduction of it, and
Wow.
yeah. So, but I fell in love with this one song, and it's the most requested song that I play, and that's "Wind Beneath My Wings."
You the wind beneath my wings. Don't
Yeah,
you know you're my hero?
yeah, yeah,
Everything that I can be. I know that I
yeah.
can sound good on the
See,
sex.
yeah, see, cause see what happens is this, right? God called us to be eagles, and the Holy Spirit is the wind that lifts us up to be all that He called us to be.
Uh-huh.
He says in this, uh, Second Corinthians 4:7, it says that He put His treasure in earthen vessels. That treasure is what? The gift of God that He's put in you. But for me, He made sure that it wasn't about me. And I've learned it's not about me.
Uh-huh.
And if it looked like it's about me, I'm stepping down. Listen, I refuse to be the smartest person I know. If that's the case, I need to meet somebody. You know,
That's the thing that
yeah,
people they don't realize that you have to make room for the others to come. Some people get on a throne or get on a certain level and they don't want to share it with nobody. They feel like it's about me and I'm the best in the world. And I don't feel like nobody should turn back around and have that chance to acknowledge and do anything with the spotlight. And it should not be that way. We all should be able to get back to where we all gave and shared and did things for one another. Um, it just people that they don't see things like they need to see them. And I always tell them you have to give from the heart. I give every day. I give every day not to actually get nothing in return because I don't want nothing in return. I give because I chose to and I love to. And when you give and people see that you're genuine and you give, they give you something in return. And then sometimes
yeah.
it's not money. They give you words of encouragement. They give you motivation and they give you blessings. When I say blessings, people think they give you money. No, Blessings is telling you thank you, and I bless you in everything that you do. And some people they don't understand that, and that's like key important that the people don't know.
Well, the real deal is this: you can't beat God's giving,
That's right.
no matter how you try, right? So to not give is not God.
That's right.
Yeah, He said, "What? Give, and it will be given back unto you, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over."
That's right.
That He would cause men to give back unto your bosom, right? In that same measure that you give, it will be measured back unto you. So just even in us connected and meeting, the very first thing out of your mouth was, "Hey man, just come by."
That's, that's right.
And and the blessings, I mean, like right now, I feel like I'm experiencing a river in the desert. Cause in 2019, I did something real interesting. I pulled the bottom of my foot off.
Ooh.
And I don't want to go into that story because then I'll change the whole interview.
Okay, okay. We're gonna say that one for
Yeah.
the next time.
Yeah. But so, but I learned something really incredible. For 2 years, I couldn't walk. So I experienced life from a wheelchair. And I learned that God is a God of detail. He knows what you have need of, even before you ask.
That's right. That's right.
And my life changed because, you hear the doctor say, well, you got him here just in time. If it had been any later, you
Would've been
may not
gone.
have been here, all that. So I lived all of that. I remember one time, then I'll get back to the subject. Uh, I was sitting in the living room and I needed to go to the bathroom. And that was almost my last step. It was almost my last breath. And I began to see me from a place I didn't want to see me. But the Bible says, call on his name, you shall be saved. And so he allowed life to come back into me. So in that, I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that God's plan for my life was more than what it was.
That's correct.
So I'm so excited because I still believe my greatest days are ahead. See, I'm a wellness practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
I heard you say something that I'm really concerned about. You said I'm in pain.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And see, go to my YouTube channel and listen to the people that talk about how they got out of pain with what I do. I mean, they testify. And so I'm an author, a best-selling author in 2016 called Winning Wellness Made Simple, How to Treat Your Feet.
Mm.
I'm a master reflexologist that does the Egyptian method of reflexology. And I detox. So,
Something like Dr. Sebi?
no, Dr. Sabi,
Sebi.
yeah, what he did, he worked you from the inside out.
You working from the outside in.
Yeah. So called, what you consume. See, I do touch therapy. And Scripture simply says a believer will lay hand on the sick and they shall recover. But when you work on the bottom of the feet, it simply says this, okay, there's 7,000 reflexes on each foot. So I have access to every part of you from the bottom of your feet. And so going in, being able to detox, rid the body of toxins, and then being able to go in and touch those places on your body, we're able to actually touch your foot and feel places in you where pain is. And we could tell you about that pain from touch. A lot of times the crystallization of uric acid and calcium, people
Builds
call,
up.
yeah, and people call that gout. So what we call
I remember that. My dad used
gout,
to say, I got to, especially wintertime come.
yeah, got out like even now, right? What's the issue? Man, this low barometric pressure, it feels like somebody has a pair of pliers around my leg, squeezing it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the barometric pressure. But I a few years ago was diagnosed with diabetes, right?
Mm.
And I knew that I wasn't taking that metformin and any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But what I didn't know is what I should do since I wasn't going to take that medicine. And I had some friends that loved me enough and cared enough about me to say that I don't know what you're going to do, but you're going to do something. We're not going to lose you to diabetes.
That's taking a lot of people out.
Yeah. And so I began to learn what to do. And I said, man, I wish I knew this 10 years ago. And I started beating it real bad. And then that's when I did that stupid thing. I didn't realize that one of the side effects of being diabetic is that your foot will feel like sandpaper.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ended up calling myself pulling that dead skin off my foot.
Oh no, man, you'll take the bottom of your foot off.
I took the bottom of my foot off. And I,
And your body don't heal like it's supposed to heal. Like when you got diabetes,
yeah.
it don't heal like that.
Yeah. And so now I'm a diabetes educator and I teach people what to do and how to beat diabetes. Not that you would tell your doctor certain things. We're not here to compete, but we're here
Mm-hmm.
to complete. These are some things that you can do in order to win. And so, it's
Almost like
exciting to see people get well.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, man, I've had some issues with my legs. I remember getting bitten by a poisonous recluse spider.
I met a guy. I was working 2007. I was working at this hardware store. All of a sudden, I always see this man come in he had a boot on. He had a boot on his foot.
Yeah,
I said, man, I've been seeing you coming up here for a whole year, and you had that same boot on your feet. Why you had that boot on all the time? He said, man, every day I go to the yard and I work in my work boots. I come home, I take my boots, I put them on the porch. I come back, I get my boots, I put them on, I go to work. This one particular day, I went to work. All of a sudden, I felt something like a sting. So I didn't think nothing of it or whatever. Pulled my boots off, looked at them, seen that just looked like something bit me. I didn't know what it was. Go a few days, my feet start swelling. It starts swelling. So now I go to the doctor because I wanted to see why my feet is swelling. Is it the boots I'm wearing? I couldn't even put my boots back on. And in fact, he had Wolverine boots. He has a steel toe on the inside. The guy said he went. The doctor say, you late, but then you not late. Do you want the good news or you want the bad news? He said, I want the bad news. Bad news is we're gonna have to actually cut half of your foot off. He lost half of his foot, and he said one thing that caught my attention. No matter where you lay your shoes, no matter where you put them, for how long, shake your shoes before you put them on your feet because you never know what's inside of your shoes. And from that day forward, I will always take my shoes and hit them. Because think about it, spiders go places that the naked eye won't see. They go in dark spots. If they get in your shoes, how you gonna know that? And
Yeah.
not all spiders are small and you gonna smash them with your feet.
Right.
And spiders really don't attack you unless they feel threatened
Yeah.
or warned. So just imagine a spider in your shoe and your feet going like this and you touching it and he's trying to defend himself. Of course, what he gonna do? He gonna bite you.
Do what spiders do.
You ain't for being no Spider-Man. But we get to the segment that I like. It's called Leon's Top 5. Leon is a cousin of mine. They actually got killed in an 18-wheeler a little bit over a year and a half, going to be close to 2 years. And I always dedicate this segment to him. Now you're a man of playing music, man of write music, and the list goes on. What would be the doctor's top 5? What would be your top 5 artists you listen to besides yourself? Because I'm pretty sure you listen to yourself a lot. What would be the top? It can be R&B, gospel, reggae, jazz, blues, country, pop, anything you name. What would be the top 5 that the doctor listened to? Because you got to listen to some type of music.
Well, I think my favorite song of all times, one that I hear in my head on a regular, right? It was by Maranatha.
Okay.
Called Lord, I Lift Your Name on High.
Okay.
And I guess the guy that wrote it, his name was Rick Founds.
Mm-hmm.
But the song was Lord, I Lift Your Name on High. But Donnie McClurkin recorded it.
Okay.
And I love this version from a lady from Jamaica named Carolyn Davis.
Okay.
She did it, so Lord, I Lift Your Name on High by Maranatha's, right?
Mm-hmm.
But growing up, man, I think we had like the bestest music on the planet. Stuff that we used to listen to on the radio, you could sing it in church, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember this one song by the Originals called God Bless Whoever Sent You.
Okay.
By the Originals. Love that song. And saxophone players,
Uh-oh.
man, it's so many good ones. But one song that I loved, and when I was in Russia, I was able to play this song with a Russian blues band because the keyboard player knew it. Is Summertime, and the saxophone player was Gene Ammons.
Summertime, like
Summertime.
Yes.
Where the living's easy. Actually, George Gershwin wrote that Summertime.
Okay, that's 3.
Yeah. So that was the jazz song. Okay, so I said the Originals would be the group. Okay, so who would be my number one male vocalist? And then I'll get my number one female vocalist. And that'll be 5. So the number one male vocalist, boy, this is a good one. This is a really good one. This is a real good one here. Number one male vocalist. Philip Bailey sung with Earth, Wind, and Fire. And he sung the song called Keep Your Head to the Sky.
Okay.
So we'll do Philip Bailey.
Okay.
Okay. And the number one female vocalist, wow, I got so many of them, but trying to narrow it down to number one. it would have to be this young lady. Her name is Vanessa Shearer.
Mm.
And Vanessa sung songs that I wrote.
Oh wow. Well, that would be I would make her number one.
Yeah, because this girl could do Beyonce. Man, it's really tough because I love Celine Dion.
Oh man, Titanic lady.
Yeah, and the theme from the Titanic is actually the song.
Wow.
But but man, Vanessa, you have. But let's just say, for 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 the sake that people could identify with the artist,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put Celine Dion.
Okay. Celine Dion.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, where can the people find you on social media?
Now, I knew you would ask that humble question.
You don't do social media. You know, some people they don't.
No,
do
no,
social- You're everywhere.
I'm learning
Okay.
how to do social media. That's why I got men.
I'm gonna teach you, but I
Okay.
have to charge. Now the thing is,
Yeah. Hey, listen. Hey, listen. Worth every penny, though, right?
no, I'll teach you.
But you could go to Facebook, right? And just type in my name. What's the YouTube? YouTube.
Well, what I do
Go
is
to my YouTube channel. Yeah.
there you go, and we're gonna have the YouTube channel on the screen with all the Facebook, Instagram, everything he got.
Yeah.
We're gonna have it on the screen.
Yeah.
Now.
And now you're gonna really be able to find me because I'm on. I launched my broadcast on allrealradio.com, and I'm introducing a format. It's not a. I've been doing this for a little while though. I call it Infocast.
I like that.
And so what I do, I take the infomercial format from back in the day in the podcasting format
And mix them together.
of today, and I combine them and I do what's called an infocast. And I do what we call infotainment. So we bring information in an entertaining way.
I did that. People always so used to saying, "Let me come on your podcast show," and I got to the point I say, "Well, they don't know. I don't have a podcast. I have a talkcast. I have a talk show in the form of podcasting. Talkcast."
Yeah, because what podcast is when they formatted streaming on iPods.
There you go.
And so it came from that, so podcast, iPod.
There you go. And people don't know that.
Yeah, and so that's how that was the birth of that. And that was literally about 20 years ago.
Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs from Apple, man. He's a very smart guy.
Yeah.
Well, I did enjoy you. I'm going to bring you back. Make sure y'all follow him on every streaming format. We're going to have everything in the description, and we're going to do a lot of stuff together. Trust me, it's a lot of stuff we're going to do.
Yeah, I'm going to get it. I'm going to tell you, listeners, I am going to make sure that I get Lil Ron's autograph.
Oh, man.
And this is, I saw the front porch of my life being empty.
Mm-hmm.
And I see God making room for who needs to be on the front porch of my life. And man, I'm just so amazed at this,
Yes, sir.
I'm grateful. Oh, at Nolan's place was really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Right when we were getting ready to leave, I saw my friend Alice from Dallas that I met in 2000.
Wow.
And we looked and we screamed, we hugged each other, we cried. We had a reunion, and man, it was just incredible. And so all I could do was shout grace all over the place.
Grace all over the place.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I want to give a plug for
Go ahead.
Stage 1 in action.
Stage 1 in action. Y'all make sure y'all find it. They on YouTube? They on
No, stage1inaction.org.
.org.
Yeah.
That's why a nonprofit.
Yeah, nonprofit. And we're a mentoring organization, and we mentor kids to become the best version of themselves. And we train adults to be able to coach the young kids to become the best version of themselves.
Sales.
And we help the coaches do what's in them so they could be the best version of themselves.
Yeah, wow.
And so I want to introduce you to stage 1 in action.
Okay, I'm done with it.
And allow stage 1 in action to be a part of taking Lil Ron to the next level. But I'm going to tell you who you are, though.
Okay, let me hear.
And then we'll shut it down.
Okay.
You're Dr. Lil Ron, and that's all I got to say.
Dr. Lil Ron.
Yeah, and so I'm a admissions advisor for the Christian University of Southern Indiana, right? And we have an opportunity to award people for the work that they do in the community. And just from meeting you and seeing the things that you do, I would love to put this in writing and nominate you to receive an honorary doctor's degree because you've already earned it. You've already done the work. So it's an award.
Oh wow. I'm not gonna say no. I'm not. I'm not gonna say no. It's shocking. You know, when I set out to do this, I set out to do this for like a purpose, and the purpose was to have every person voice heard, no matter what race, no matter what color. Everything I did, man, I did it from the heart because that's what I chose to do. Didn't want nothing out of it. I just wanted to see people happy. I just wanted to just change people's lives, man. That's what I wanted to do. But I will be honored. I'm never going to say no.
Well, I tell you what, and I'm going to give you your elevator pitch. Okay. God has put you on this planet to change the destiny of a generation. And I thank Him that He is allowing me to be provision for your vision.
Wow.
And in doing that, and we'll talk about that as you know, and
Yes.
and because I can show you better than I can tell you.
That's my type of guy. That's my type of guy.
Yeah, and from I'm serious. I'm going to prepare the nomination letter, and I'm making this public. You know, because this is something I don't ever do, and I'm doing something I don't do right now.
Doctor, man, doctor, he got me up and
Yeah.
laughing.
See, and see, but let's be real and let's be honest. It's not that you need it, but it's for those to recognize who you are and whose you are. And so you could pull the best in them out. Many are called, but few are chosen.
My grandfather used to always tell me that. He always used to say that.
And it's and see, just like your grandfather always told you that. And how many prayers that he prayed that God is answering through you.
Yeah, yes, sir. You definitely right. You definitely right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so in reference to and you know, and like right now my eyes are like full of tears of joy because it's like Nolan said, brother, we don't meet you every day. But for such a time as this, in me relaunching life and what God has for me, He made sure, all praises to him, he made sure for me to go to that place that he's calling me. He made sure that you were in my life.
Yes, sir.
And so I'm not taking that lightly.
Okay. Hey, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, until next time, guys and ladies, this is your boy, Dr. LaRon, signing off. Until next time, remember, anything is possible. We out. Peace.